When I went to UK, I told Emily not to wait for me. I thought she wouldn't be happy waiting for me, especially since I didn't know when I could come back. Emily stood by me and said, "I wanted to go with you, Michael, but I couldn't leave my sick mother behind. She passed away, but I had no way to follow you. I always believed we would meet again someday, and before I knew it, here we are. So that's how it was." Emily had been waiting for me all this time. I held Emily tightly in my arms. "My name is Michael. I'm turning 39 this year. I've finished my overseas assignment and returned to the headquarters. The headquarters is where I worked tirelessly when I was young. I felt nostalgic about the familiar workplace. After 12 years, there are few employees I know anymore. It's only natural when you think about it. Time moves on. I gave a brief introduction at the morning meeting on my first day back. It felt a bit embarrassing to introduce myself again. I was welcomed with applause. I was immediately called upon for work. It was about a new client we had signed a contract with. They wanted to discuss the contract details. As a manager, I also attended the consultation about the contract. I appreciated the subordinate who secured the contract and wanted to support their discussion. I understood that a manager's role is to oversee the employee's work, appreciate their efforts, and sometimes offer support. It was different from just securing contracts. In that sense, I felt a fresh sense of purpose. When I was assigned overseas, I was a regular employee, but I returned to the headquarters as a manager. The sales expertise I honed abroad should be useful in my managerial role. I aim to advance step by step as a manager while bringing out the best in the younger staff. My boss, David, who sits next to me, is much younger than I am. He was promoted to his current position at a young age. I was surprised he became a director at his age. He must have achieved a lot to earn his position. Suddenly, David called me while I was dealing with the client at the meeting room. What could it be about? I left my subordinate to handle things. It must be urgent, I thought. When I got back to the office, David was sitting at his desk, waiting for me. "Sorry for calling you suddenly. I need a favor." "Sure, what can I do for you?" "It's not a big deal, really. David should understand that I was busy dealing with the client. I believe that dealing with clients should be done with utmost sincerity and priority. There must be a pressing reason he interrupted me." "David, please make it quick." "Why?" "I called you because I need to ask you something urgently." I was surprised by David's unexpected response. Does he understand that the client is waiting? A new client we signed a contract with is here to discuss the details. I can't keep them waiting. I just stepped out for a moment. That can be left to the person who secured the contract, right? That's not your job. Yes, we are delving into the contract details and progressing with the discussion. As the person in charge, my input is necessary. So, what is it you need, David? David cleared his throat before speaking. What? Is it something hard to tell me? Actually, there's a contract we want to secure today. I need you to come with me. Sorry for the sudden notice, but please get ready quickly. Huh? You're securing a contract, David? This sounded strange. That's not David's job. And why would I need to accompany him? David said it wasn't a big deal. But if it's about a contract, isn't it a big deal? David's role is company management. He handles administration and doesn't directly involve himself in making contracts. Is he involving me because it's a contract? This isn't something David should be dealing with directly. Why are you involved in this contract, David? Why can't I be involved in a contract? That's not your concern, is it? I couldn't understand what David was saying. I felt I had no choice but to comply. When do we leave? Right now. Get ready. David, that's impossible. I have work to do. David suddenly scowled. Are you defying your superior? A superior's orders are absolute. I was shocked. I can't believe there's a boss who would say something like that. Who ignores their subordinates' work like that? This is unreasonable. I reluctantly decided to leave the client dealings to my subordinate. All right, David. I'll accompany you immediately. Can you drive? Out of the blue, what's he talking about now? Does he want me to drive us there? Yes, I can drive. That's great. We'll take the company car. Just as I thought. I didn't mind. I got the company car ready and waited for David. I felt bewildered. David climbed into the car nonchalantly. Take us here. This is where our potential client is. David handed me a note. It had the name T Corp on it. T Corp? I've visited them before. I didn't mention this to David. So I knew the way well. I drove without getting lost. While driving, David said something odd. When we get to T Corp, stay in the car. What? I thought I was going to join the meeting? No, that's not necessary. I'll handle the contract alone. Don't worry about it. Then why am I even accompanying you? I didn't understand at all. If I wait in the car, I'll end up just being a chauffeur. Are you sure that's okay? I want to be of help to you, David. Just do as I say. This is necessary for the contract. Me waiting in the car is necessary for the contract? I was even more confused. David continued with his strange explanation. T Corp wants to sign the contract, but she is refusing. She? Yes. If we can win her over, the contract is ours. That's why I brought you. Wait, so you needed me in the car for this contract? Exactly. You and the car are tools to impress her. Even after treating her to her favorite diner, she didn't agree. Today, I'll show her authority. Diner? That phrase made me realize something. David, by any chance, is this woman named Emily? David, sitting in the passenger seat, widened his eyes and was at a loss for words. How do you know her name? I was just as surprised by his response. Could it really be? So it was Emily. We arrived at T Corp's parking lot and I stopped the car. I took out my business card from my bag and handed it to David. David, please give this to her. The contract will go through. What do you mean? Just trust me and give this to her before you start talking. Good luck. With that, I sent David off. A little while later, David came back. He was with a woman. It was indeed Emily. She hadn't changed a bit. I greeted Emily in front of David. We got the contract. Just as you said, everything went smoothly after I handed her your card. Then, turning to Emily with a smirk, he added, "Oh, he's just the driver. I arranged the car for you today. Since I got the contract, you remember our deal, right?" Emily nodded yes and responded to David. "Yes, I understand. I'll go out with you. But today, let's just have a drive with the driver included." Fine. Just for today. A drive? This is supposed to be work, isn't it? Is David planning to spend the day on a drive? Today, we'll just have a driving date. But next time, you know what I expect, right? A date? What's going on? I started to see David's ulterior motives. Just from that short conversation, I could understand the context behind the contract. And why Emily had been refusing. What puzzled me was why David chose me. Wouldn't it have made more sense to use a younger guy? While I was wondering about this, Emily casually asked David the same question. The driver looks older. Is he new to the company? Yes. I rose to this position at a young age, so I need to be able to boss around even older employees. When I said I'd get the contract today, this guy volunteered to come along. He's old, but he just joined the company and became a manager. So I thought I'd make him my sidekick today. So that's what he meant by showing authority. It oddly made sense. He just wanted to impress Emily. He doesn't even realize I've returned to the headquarters. He thinks I'm just some clueless old guy, huh? What kind of company promotes someone to manager based on age alone? You become a manager because you've earned it, right? David tried to use a drive date to secure the contract. But Emily isn't that kind of shallow woman. She agreed to the contract and the drive after seeing my business card. I was touched by Emily's feelings. Both Emily and I spent that day on David's drive date without revealing our identities. After polite